It was a dark, moonless night when my friends and I decided to venture into the deep, ominous woods. The stories we had heard about the abandoned military facility hidden within sent shivers down our spines, but we couldn't resist the call of adventure and the lure of the unknown. We were young and fearless, or so we thought. Allow me to paint a picture of our backstory and the characters involved. We were a group of 5 friends, bound by years of camaraderie and shared experiences. There was Sarah, the adventurous and quick-witted one who always pushed us to step outside our comfort zones. Then there was Mark, the rational thinker with a penchant for unraveling mysteries and finding logical explanations. Emily was the sensitive soul, often guided by her intuition and a deep connection to the supernatural. Alex, the practical joker, brought levity to every situation, his laughter serving as a shield against fear. And finally, there was me, Michael, the level-headed one who often found himself caught between the realms of skepticism and curiosity. We had grown up together, attending the same school and spending countless summers exploring the woods and creating unforgettable memories. Our bond was unbreakable, and that night in the woods was just another testament to the strength of our friendship. As for me, I was a young writer, forever fascinated by the mysterious and the macabre. My love for horror stories and the unexplained drew me towards the allure of the abandoned military facility. It was a perfect opportunity to experience firsthand the terrors that had captured my imagination for so long. With a notebook in hand, I was eager to document every chilling detail and turn it into a tale that would send shivers down the spines of those who dared to read it. The setting itself played a crucial role in the atmosphere of our adventure. The deep, ominous woods were ancient, with trees that seemed to stretch towards the heavens, their branches entwined like skeletal fingers. The underbrush was thick, making progress through the labyrinthine paths a challenge in itself. The silence that enveloped the forest was broken only by the haunting calls of distant owls and the rustling of leaves beneath our feet. It was a place where nature and the supernatural danced in a delicate balance, creating an eerie ambience that set the stage for the horrors that awaited us. And so, armed with our individual quirks, fears, and the bond that held us together, we embarked on our journey into the heart of darkness. The abandoned military facility stood as a foreboding presence, its secrets buried within the decaying walls. Little did we know that the encounters we would have with ghosts that night would test our courage and resilience in ways we could never have imagined. But despite the fear that lurked within us, we pressed on, fueled by the inexplicable need to explore the unexplored, to seek answers to questions that had haunted us for so long. Little did we know that this night would become etched in our memories, forever shaping our lives and leaving an indelible mark on our souls. Armed with flashlights and fueled by youthful curiosity, we set off on our quest for the mysterious facility. As we made our way through the dense underbrush, the distant sounds of crickets and rustling leaves provided an eerie soundtrack to our journey. The air grew colder, and a thick fog rolled in, enveloping us in a sinister embrace. After what felt like an eternity of walking, we stumbled upon a rusted, chain-link fence covered in warning signs that had faded with time. The entrance to the facility stood before us, beckoning us forward with its silent whispers. We exchanged nervous glances, but our collective adrenaline pushed us to push through the fear. The wind moaned through the gnarled branches of the surrounding trees, whispering ancient secrets in our ears. The moon, veiled behind a thick canopy of clouds, provided little illumination, leaving us enveloped in an inky blackness. The only sounds that reached our ears were the distant hoots of owls, their haunting calls echoing through the night like harbingers of doom. As we approached the rusted fence, it seemed to radiate an eerie energy, as if pulsating with the remnants of the facility's dark history. The warning signs, faded and weather-worn, barely clung to the fence's surface, their cryptic symbols hinting at the dangers that lay beyond. We squinted through the dim light, trying to decipher the fading letters that warned of unseen horrors and the consequences of our curiosity. The wind picked up, whistling through the barbs of the fence, producing an unsettling melody that sent shivers down our spines. Shadows danced along the forest floor, their movements irregular and seemingly guided by some unseen force. It was as if the very forest itself conspired to deter us from proceeding, as if it knew the horrors that awaited within the facility's decaying walls. As our hands met the cold, rusty links of the fence, a chill permeated our bodies, seeping into our bones. The metal seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, resisting our touch, as if urging us to reconsider our decision. Yet, a morbid curiosity consumed us, and with a collective resolve, we pushed forward, the desire for answers outweighing the dread that filled our hearts. With each step into the facility, the air grew heavier, as if laced with the lingering despair of those who had met their demise within these forsaken halls. Our flashlights flickered, casting erratic shadows on the cracked walls. The corridors stretched out before us like an intricate labyrinth, their darkness swallowing any remnants of light that dared to penetrate the murky depths. The silence within the facility was deafening, interrupted only by the occasional creaking of decaying floorboards beneath our feet. The musty stench of decay filled our nostrils, mingling with the scent of dampness and abandonment. We exchanged nervous glances, our eyes wide with trepidation, yet a collective determination pushed us forward into the heart of this forsaken place. With each passing moment, the weight of the unknown bore down upon us, as if the very walls themselves held untold secrets. The air grew stale, suffocating, as if it had been trapped within these walls for an eternity. Whispers, barely audible, seemed to echo through the corridors, slipping into our ears like the ghosts of forgotten voices. Our hearts raced, throbbing in our chests, as we ventured deeper, drawn inexorably towards the darkness that awaited us within the belly of the abandoned military facility. We stepped cautiously into the facility, our flashlights casting long, haunting shadows against the decrepit walls. The air inside was thick with dust and the musty scent of abandonment. The corridors stretched out like the veins of some forgotten beast, leading us deeper into the heart of darkness. As we explored, strange things began to happen. We heard phantom footsteps echoing in the empty hallways, their origin impossible to discern. Whispers floated through the air, chilling us to the core, even though no one else was present. Shadows danced in the corners of our vision, but when we turned to face them, they melted away like mist. Fear gnawed at our minds, but we pressed on, unable to resist the allure of the unknown. We stumbled upon an old laboratory, its glass vials shattered and its counters littered with decaying equipment. The flickering light bulbs above cast an eerie glow, revealing faded notes scrawled on chalkboards, detailing grotesque experiments that had been conducted in this very room. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind blew through the lab, extinguishing our flashlights and plunging us into complete darkness. Panic consumed us as we fumbled for the light switches, desperate to escape the clutches of the unknown. With a flicker, the light sputtered back to life, but we were not alone. Faces appeared in the broken glass of the laboratory cabinets, hollow eyes, twisted smiles frozen in time. The spirits of the facility's tormented souls had awakened, drawn to our intrusion. Their unearthly wails filled the air, their pale, ghostly forms darting through the room, their whispers a cacophony of despair. The broken glass of the laboratory cabinets became a canvas upon which the tortured souls of the facility's past inhabitants painted their haunting visages. Their faces, etched in pain and despair, emerged with an ethereal glow. Hollow eyes, devoid of life, stared out from within the shattered frames, piercing our souls with their intensity. Twisted smiles, frozen in eternal anguish, twisted their spectral features into grotesque masks of torment. Each ghostly form bore the marks of their tragic demise. Their bodies were translucent, ethereal wisps that flickered and shifted like the dying embers of a flame. Tattered remnants of military uniforms hung from their spectral frames, their fabrics faded and torn, mirroring the ravages of time and the horrors they had endured. Some ghosts appeared with missing limbs or disfigured features, remnants of the battles fought within the confines of the facility. Their gory wounds, frozen in eternal agony, oozed spectral blood that dripped soundlessly onto the floor, staining it with an otherworldly hue. Others were plagued by an ethereal glow, their bodies shimmering with an unnatural light that pulsed and flickered, as if trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. Their wails, filled with anguish and despair, reverberated through the room, growing in intensity with each passing moment. The air became thick with their mournful cries, forming a dissonant symphony of suffering that assaulted our eardrums. Whispers, a cacophony of fragmented voices, joined the chorus, their eerie words lost in the ethereal winds that carried them. It was as if the very essence of their tormented souls had become one with the darkness, echoing through the chamber and seeping into the very fabric of our beings. The ghosts darted through the room, their pale forms flickering and phasing through solid objects. They moved with an otherworldly grace, gliding through the air as if weightless, their movements both fluid and unnatural. Their spectral fingers brushed against the walls, leaving frosty trails in their wake. Wisps of frigid air trailed behind them, chilling our skin and causing the fine hairs on the nape of our necks to stand on end. Their voices, a symphony of sorrow, whispered words of sorrow and regret. Fragmented phrases filled the chamber, blending into a disorienting chorus that seemed to penetrate our minds. Each voice carried its own tale of pain and suffering, but their collective anguish echoed through the room, a chilling reminder of the atrocities that had transpired within these walls. As we stood frozen in terror, the ghosts turned their hollow gazes upon us, their eyes boring into our very souls. Their twisted smiles widened, exuding a malevolence that sent shivers down our spines. In that moment, we knew we had trespassed upon a realm where the boundary between the living and the dead was blurred, and the price of our curiosity would be paid in fear and eternal nightmares. In a frenzy of terror, we sprinted towards the exit, our hearts pounding like war drums. The ghosts pursued us relentlessly, their chilling touches grazing our skin, their agonized cries echoing in our ears. We burst through the doors, stumbling into the moonlit forest, gasping for breath. We ran until our legs could carry us no further, collapsing in a clearing, our bodies trembling with the aftermath of the ordeal. The ghosts had vanished, leaving us with only the haunting memories of that night. We had escaped their clutches, but the scars they left upon our souls would never fade. To this day, we bear witness to the supernatural, forever haunted by the spirits of the abandoned military facility. Our adventure had forever changed us, teaching us the true meaning of fear, and reminding us that some secrets are better left buried in the depths of darkness.